What's up? So, how do I feel about talk about Jalen Brunson being the greatest New York Knick ever? I say pump the brakes. He's clutch, He comes up big, but to say the greatest New York Knicks ever is a disrespect to guys who've already run, like Walt Clyde Frazier, like Earl of Pearl Monroe, like Willis Reed, Dave DeBusschere, Bill Bradley. That's five right there. And if I want to throw in other guys who have a strong case, Patrick Ewing got a strong argument. He sure does. You know, you look at careers. You know, I'll say this: he got a chance to be top five. If he leads them all the way, he definitely top 4 or 5. I'll give you that. But to say he's the greatest already is an insult. Because a guy like Bernard King, if you weren't aware of Bernard King, then you missing out. You saying some pretty heavy stuff. And the sad part is that for the rings that they won, the success the Knicks had, it's been so long since they won. They did lose the finals to Houston and San Antonio. So it's not like they haven't had a run at finals and had success, but it acts like they didn't have any players of stature that somebody can come along pretty much off the street and we can get goaded. I mean, I just don't quite feel that way. And I like JB a lot. He's a hard working player. He's one of those kind of guys that he just keeps coming at you and keeps coming at you. You know, he's in a interesting way. He's got the kind of workmanship as a starter, kind of like what might have been my new Ginobili may have been like. If Ginobili had have played all his career as a starter, this is just what he may have been like. Because I think Ginobili would have led the team. He'd have been frustrating. Except I think Ginobili had even more gears than Brunson. Brunson can shoot that thing and can spin you and forces you to call fouls, but he's not as a what's the word I want to use? He doesn't quite get under your skin the way Ginobili did. That's the only difference. But he kind of reminds me of a little bit, the style and the movement. But having said all that though, no, he's not the greatest New York. And people are such prisoners of the moment. They get so hyped. You got to put the work in. But if he wins a chip, you know, that's an interesting debate. That's an interesting debate because you'd be hard pressed to find a Nick who was an MVP in recent memory. And plus, the way he came over, he's 28. Figure he wins a ring and he stays in New York for 4 or 5 more years. He will definitely be in the mentions. He will definitely be in the hierarchy mentions with the best of the Knicks. So that's something to think about. But to say that he's the greatest Nick already, no, no. People be prisoners of the moments. He's clutch, even though, when people throw that word around, I'm thinking, who would I put there today? Because, I mean, I'm looking at people and I'm trying to think. I mean, he's in that argument, but I'm trying to think who else would I would say because I look at him as a more, what he does during the course of a game, but it's kind of like he snuck up, you know. It's kind of like he snuck up. And he is one of the 12 best players going. However, when I think about Jalen Brunson, this going to sound strange. It is very New York, and you can boo all you want. He's more Eli Manning than he is Peyton Manning. And let me explain. Eli wakes up in the postseason. Eli was mediocre in the regular season. Now, Jalen Brunson is not mediocre in the regular season. He's very good to great. However, postseason is where he rings the alarm. And that's how I look at Jalen Brunson. So he's more Eli than he is Peyton. And if he's anything like Eli in the postseason, he could lead the Knicks to a chip. And we could revisit this. But right now, if I'm doing my top 5 Knicks, he's not in my top 5. But he's knocking at the door, though. He got a good chance to get in if he wins because no one saw this team playing at this level. No one thinks that the Tom Thibodeau team with a 7-man rotate can win a chip. And no one looked at Jalen Brunson as a dude that Luka Doncic slept and forgot and let Dallas get through the cracks. And that is something that they sorely miss. But for whatever reason, it didn't pan out in Dallas. But he fits in good with the Big Apple. So we'll stay tuned. But anyway, give me your thoughts and your takes. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments. And I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another shit. If you like, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.